Okay, one of the themes that I often get on the show is narcissism. And I have to say that this video is not probably going to be for the spirituality 101 people. This is for the people who have been diving deep in their journey. Stay tuned, even if you're not deep on your journey yet, but I'm just giving you a fair warning that it's a little bit of tough love because I think that a lot of empaths these days are wanting to blame and shame narcissists as though they're bad. And while there's a lot of challenges that come with the narcissistic profile, I think we need to eliminate the language. I get it. Like we want to identify and understand others, but we're really just looking at ourselves in relationships. So, if you are with a narcissist or you've been with a narcissist, let's remember this. Number one, we do not need to give people labels. And number two, there is a spectrum that people can be on when it comes to something more narcissistic. We're going to talk more about the self absorption that often is portrayed with someone who we might want to label a narcissist, because there is some really important things that you're going to be able to grab out of this relationship if you choose to do so. But you can't be a victim. So you have to understand that if you have attracted someone who you feel has narcissistic tendencies in your life, then you have to go deep into you to figure out, wait, why is that? When I feel like the resonance with that is so far off, and yet they're in your life for a reason. And if you jump in and get the lessons, I promise you, you will come out the other side with so many incredible pearls of wisdom. How do I know? I've done this myself. You can read about like the first time this happened to me was incredibly devastating, and I wasn't actually sure I was going to survive. In my book, Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics, the chapter called Sleeping with the Devil, you'll get into the details of how I fell prey to not only a narcissist, but a sociopathic narcissist. And I didn't even know what those words really meant back then. This was years ago. And since then, I have learned so much from that relationship that it has helped to catapult me on my spiritual awakening journey. And so I want to talk today about narcissism from a totally different place, because narcissists come into the lives of an empath, someone who's compassionate, oftentimes the ones that are light filled, love filled, wanting the best for all of planet Earth. And boom, they show up with someone who's just very self-serving, very self-centered, and very focused on themselves and getting what they want. Now, here's where that's so important. They are here to teach empaths, light workers, way showers, important critical lessons. And that is to have number one, discernment. You want to have discernment. Hey, if this person's making me feel a certain way, let me use my own discernment whether or not I want to move forward. So you always have a choice. You have a choice about how someone makes you feel and how you are going to respond to that. So you want to take ownership over that and make sure that you're making the choices that are right for you. And that individual that you're calling a narcissist, they're doing that for themselves. And so they're simply reflecting to you, what does this look like if I make choices for myself? Now, oftentimes they go about it in a way that we wouldn't do, because we're always going to have compassion. We're always going to have empathy for others and the impact that we make on them. So that's not the point. I'm not saying that you're going to sway to the other side and become some harsh, self-serving person. No, you're going to bring your own self-love to the surface in a way that you're going to continue to shine your light brightly no matter what happens and no matter what happens with them, because you have the choice to say, this is not consistent with me, and I'm going to leave this situation, this relationship. Again, this is for people that are deeply on their spiritual journey, that know who they are, that have a mission here on planet Earth, and they're not going to be stopped. So that's discernment. Number one, super important. Use your discernment. Don't allow them to do things that then you build stories and excuses about and sort of let them off the hook. No, that's not what we're here to do. We're here to get the lessons and move on or move through. Okay, I'm going to talk more about that in a little bit. Oftentimes, a narcissist is going to show an empath that they are overgiving. especially when it's not deserving. So again, taking on to that discernment, you want to make sure that you are not over giving. You're not over excusing. You're not, you're not over fulfilling your needs in the relationship. They have to step up to the plate and provide you what it is that you want and need in a relationship, but they can only do it if you communicate. So what does that mean? Boundaries and self-worth are super important. You get to practice communicating what it is that you feel, what it is that you need, and things that you want to change. And if that person is not receptive to any of your needs, any of your feelings, then you need to use the discernment and move on. There is a great lesson here, and there's a great strength. And here's the example. If you don't go to the gym every day and you go to the gym once every 3 months, you're not going to build the muscle. What a narcissist or someone who's on that spectrum can do for someone that's an empath is they can get them to really practice communication, boundaries, and that self-worth. Hey, I know what I want. I know who I am. Because oftentimes, what individuals do who are less secure and who are pushing to get their way, they say things that are very demeaning and diminishing to that empathic, compassionate person. Take that as a beautiful opportunity to practice. When you practice speaking your truth, when you practice showing up with your self-worth and your value, when you practice that, especially if it's someone that you love, hey, that's usually what happens is we fall in love with people that are on this spectrum. And there's such a juicy, important reason. It's different probably for everyone, the nuances, but what I'm sharing here is very consistent across the board. So we've talked about communication and discernment. We've also talked about strengthening your boundaries and your self-worth. And the third one is mastering compassion without attachment. Okay, I know this can be so hard, but it's the lesson that we're all here to learn is that we want to be able to love and have compassion for others and not be attached to the outcome. I know from personal experience, I have high expectations of people, especially when it comes to romantic partners, especially when it comes to my beloveds and the people that are in my life that I care so much about. But we have to find a way to be in non-attachment. And the way that we do that is we sit and anchor ourselves in our own self-love. So we're deeply anchored in self-love. If you're feeling like you're getting spun around by someone else, a beloved that you want to say is on the spectrum, I would offer to you that there is a big, 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 juicy lesson here. And it's not to be the victim and it's not to call them names like a narcissist. It's for you to say, okay, why did I attract this person into my life? I want to get down to the deep details of me. What is it within me that I am calling in to learn right now through this relationship? I think you're going to find your life is going to change dramatically. Everyone has their internal wounds, and ultimately, people just want to be loved and love. And so that's what we're here to do on planet Earth as light workers, way showers, whatever it is that you identify with, star seeds. We're here to shine the light. We're here to show the way. And we're here to help others see a different way of living because we've done it ourselves. We're not here to heal anyone. We're here to be who we are and really exude that happiness and that love and light out into the world. And we can't do that if we don't have our abilities in place to communicate, use our discernment, strengthen our boundaries and self-worth, and master compassion without attachment. I think it's very rare that anyone gets through a lifetime that's here for the awakening of planet Earth without encountering their own devils. However you want to identify them, because they help us grow so much. And when we stay focused on the growth, we move through it. We don't avoid it. We don't go around it. And when we go through it, we don't have to do it again and again and again. All right. I would love to hear your comments. Please share. Have you slept with your devil yet? And if so, did you survive? You must have because you're here. Give me the juiciest lesson that you learned from sleeping with your own devil, from encountering a narcissist, even if it's a friend, it doesn't have to be a lover. Let me know. I'd love to know in the comments. And if you have more information that you'd like to know and yeah, something that might help you, I'm happy to bring that forward. So just write it in the comments and I'll either address it on the live show at 11:11 on Sunday Pacific time, or I'll do a separate video for it. So please submit your questions. I'd love to hear from you and come on live Sundays, 11:11 Pacific time. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And until then, wishing you much bliss and love on the journey. Namaste.